The Pacific, endless, ancient, a vast living memory stretching from the shores of South America to the islands of Oceania. Beneath its surface lie secrets older than written history, whispers of voyages, of mariners who crossed oceans long before recorded time, and of lands that once connected the world in ways we are only beginning to understand. For centuries, conventional wisdom held that the Americas were populated exclusively via the land bridge of Bering, walking down from the frozen north into the New World. The narrative was neat, simple, tidy, but nature and history are rarely so obliging. Recent discoveries are reshaping everything we thought we knew about human migration. Genetic research, particularly studies led by Pontus Skoglund and his team at Harvard Medical School, has revealed startling connections. Certain genetic markers found among indigenous peoples of South America show a distant kinship with populations of Australia and Oceania. Not all Native Americans share this link. Those in North America, for example, do not. This suggests something extraordinary. Humans reach the Americas not solely by the northern land route, but also across vast, open oceans. Somehow, long before Columbus, or even the Norse, small groups of skilled mariners crossed thousands of miles of treacherous sea, bridging continents in a feat once considered impossible. Part 1. The Genetic Trail. The evidence lies in DNA. Skoglund's research, published in Nature in 2020, examined ancient genomes from Brazil, Colombia, and other parts of South America. They revealed sequences that closely match lineages in indigenous Australian and Melanesian populations, a signal distinct from the primary northern migrations. How could this be? These two distant human populations were separated by an entire Pacific Ocean. The pattern implies direct maritime migration or repeated contact between these regions, perhaps tens of thousands of years ago. Traditional archaeology had long assumed the Pacific was too vast, the canoes too primitive for early humans to cross. Yet we know now that Polynesian navigators later mastered the art of wayfinding, using stars, swells, and bird flight paths. Could the first voyagers have done the same, long before the legends of Moana and Thor Heyerdahl's daring Kon-Tiki expedition? Part 2. Echoes in the Islands. Amid this vast ocean, one island stands as both a mystery and a monument to human ingenuity. Easter Island, or Rapa Nui. Its remote location, more than 2,000 miles from continental Chile, has baffled historians for centuries. How could early humans, without modern navigation, reach such a tiny fragment of land and then not just survive, but build monumental stone structures with remarkable precision? The massive Moai statues, some over 30 feet tall, hint at knowledge and organizational skill far beyond what might be expected from a small island settlement. Yet, Easter Island is not the center of the Pacific story, merely a waypoint, a signpost of broader networks. The island suggests that early ocean crossings were not one-offs. They were deliberate, repeated, and systematic. Across the Pacific, from Melanesia to Polynesia, evidence emerges of early seafaring people connecting islands, moving plants, animals, and ideas. The genetic trail in South America may well be the distant echo of these ancient maritime corridors. Easter Island, in this context, is a breadcrumb in a vast, sunken map of human migration. Part 3. The Shadow of the Lost Civilizations. Here is where Graham Hancock's perspective sharpens the story. He has long argued that humanity's history extends deeper than conventional timelines suggest. That a global, pre-potop civilization once existed, only to be shattered by cataclysmic events. Imagine a world where maritime knowledge was not localized, but widespread, passed down through generations, linking continents and islands in a network we can barely glimpse today. Hancock writes, "We are a species with amnesia, and nowhere is that truer than in the Pacific. The ocean may have swallowed physical evidence, but memory, in genes, in stories, in megaliths, survives." Some scholars have dismissed such ideas as speculation. Yet, consider the facts. Genomic connections between South America and Oceania cannot be explained by chance. Archaeological finds in Chile and Brazil suggest pre-Columbian contact with Polynesian crops and technologies. The Moai of Easter Island may be remote, but their precision mirrors knowledge seen across the Pacific. Part 4. Voyagers of the Deep. The ocean is not merely a barrier, it is a highway. Ancient people understood its rhythms. Birds, winds, and stars served as guides. Thor Heyerdahl, in 1947, demonstrated the possibility by sailing the Kon-Tiki from Peru to Polynesia on a simple balsa raft. The expedition proved that such crossings were feasible, even without modern instruments. Now imagine thousands of years earlier, with generations of skilled navigators, a people who moved deliberately across the Pacific, carrying not only themselves, but knowledge, plants, and culture. Easter Island is a testament. Its settlers had to master the sea to survive. They carried crops from other islands, transported massive stones, organized labor, and established a thriving society in complete isolation. The island, tiny and remote, is a microcosm of a larger network, hints of a forgotten maritime civilization that extended from Oceania to the Americas. Part 5. Genetic and archaeological convergence. Pontus Skoglund's research is reinforced by other evidence. Artifacts in South America, such as sweet potatoes and other Pacific crops, suggest pre-Columbian contact with Polynesians. Radiocarbon dating aligns with genetic timelines. There is no single smoking gun, but a converging pattern emerges. Genes, plants, cultural motifs, and monumental structures all point to sustained maritime interaction. Consider this. If early humans could traverse thousands of miles of open ocean, then our understanding of prehistory shifts dramatically. Migration was not linear, confined to land bridges, or slow. Humanity was capable, innovative, and deeply connected, navigating oceans, crossing continents, and leaving traces in places like Easter Island, far from any obvious mainland. Part 6. The Forgotten Knowledge. Hancock suggests that these early mariners were more than travelers. They were bearers of knowledge. They may have understood ocean currents, celestial patterns, and perhaps even energy and geometry in ways later civilizations would forget. Atlantis and Lemuria are often dismissed as myth. Yet, in the context of trans-Pacific migration, these legends take on new meaning. They hint at an interconnected world, where humans possessed advanced seafaring skills long before the dawn of recorded history. The DNA markers, the Polynesian navigation, the isolated but sophisticated settlements, all are fragments of a forgotten map, etched across ocean and memory. Part 7. Easter Island in context. Easter Island sits at the edge of the Pacific, a solitary witness. Its people arrived not by accident, but by knowledge of stars, currents, and the far horizon. The Moai statues, facing inland, seem to mark the memory of the ancestors. But their very existence attests to the mastery of the sea. They were connected, even if we cannot fully trace the path. The island is small, remote, yet technologically and culturally advanced. It is a snapshot of what Hancock might call a lost age of human capability, echoing across continents and genes. It reminds us that the Pacific was never empty, and the Americas were never completely isolated. Every crossing left a mark, in people, in crops, in culture, and in stories whispered down the centuries. Part 8. A challenge to conventional history. The conventional story of migration, from Siberia through Beringia to North and South America, is no longer sufficient. The genetic record, combined with archaeological and cultural evidence, paints a more complex picture. Humans were maritime pioneers, far earlier and more skilled than previously imagined. They crossed oceans, connected continents, and left traces we are only beginning to uncover. Hancock writes, "Our ancestors were not primitive. They were explorers, voyagers, mariners whose accomplishments surpass what we give them credit for." The Pacific crossing is not a legend. It is a slowly emerging reality, glimpsed in genomes, artifacts, and the silent stones of Easter Island. Part 9. The legacy of the forgotten mariners. The story does not end with a single discovery. Each finding, a genetic link, a Polynesian crop in South America, a sunken structure beneath the waves, is a message from the past. The mariners may have vanished physically, but their legacy persists. Their knowledge of the ocean, their mastery of navigation, and their courage to cross the impossible shape the human story in ways we are only beginning to understand. We look at Easter Island and see isolation, but we must also see connection. The faint lines of a vast, ancient network spanning the Pacific, bridging worlds that conventional history still treats as separate. Perhaps the greatest lesson of these forgotten voyagers is this: humanity has always been capable of reaching far beyond what we assume. Oceans were not boundaries. They were highways, and in their depths, memory endures. The Pacific carries its secrets. The DNA in the forests of Brazil, the stones of Easter Island, the currents across thousands of miles, all speak of journeys that predate history books. Journeys of courage, ingenuity, and discovery. Journeys that remind us that our ancestors were far more than survivors. They were explorers of the unknown, and their story waits just beneath the waves to be remembered. Before Columbus, before recorded history, humans crossed vast oceans, connecting continents in ways once thought impossible. Genetic links between Oceania and South America reveal a hidden maritime network. Easter Island stands as a testament to their skill. The Pacific remembers the forgotten mariners, and their story is only beginning to emerge from the depths of time.